So when it comes to the bench press, the way you set up is massively important. We want to maximize stability in order to make sure that while we're on the bench, we're balanced and not rocking from the left to the right. And especially as you progress in weight, stability through the lower body becomes massively important. Now, it's not just that, we also want to discuss arching your back for a number of reasons. So all of these things I'm going to try and cover as best I can in this video, but just take home that the way you set up your bench press, like any other exercise, is going to set you up for maximum success, maximum strength output, and ultimately maximum progress as you execute the lift. So, setting up, the first thing that I would like to talk about is feet. When you lie back, if you have one foot up on the bench, you always have one side of your body that presses with more force than the other, even if the bar looks completely horizontal. So if you're unstable with one foot up on the bench, you're going to rock from left to right, which ultimately reduces neural drive, and therefore strength output will be reduced. So the best practice in this scenario is have both feet flat on the floor, but in a way that is very stable, and your feet almost feel like they're rooted to the ground. So when I lie back, I don't have my feet in the air. One foot is not up on the bench. I'm going to try and have a nice wide stance, bring my feet further back to my glutes, to the point where my glutes feel tight and my lower back is engaged. Now, this also means I'm very capable of digging my feet into the ground. So when I press the bar is not going to go from left to right and ultimately make me wobble about in the bench. I can stabilize myself with my foot position, but you have to be in a tight position. So that's number one. Now, the second part of setting up for a bench press as effectively as you can is trying to create an arch in your back. Now, the level of arch or the angle of arch that people will be able to demonstrate will change person to person, and it's largely dependent on biomechanics and mobility. But everybody can do it to a certain degree, and everybody should try their best. So for me personally, the way that I like to do it is I grab the head of the bench, I try and push my glutes off the bench, my lower back rises, I try and create an arch, and then from here I'm trying to drop my shoulders underneath me. So this creates a really tall chest, your tummy is out, could be another mental cue here, and there's an obvious space between my back and the bench. This means that my shoulders are out of the equation. Mechanically, I'm in a really strong position in order to exert the most amount of force, but then also, because it pre-stretches the chest with the position of my shoulders, my chest obviously stretches across my rib cage. If my shoulder blades are back and I have a big arch, it pushes my chest up and out, and therefore puts myself in a position where the chest is pre-stretched. So then as I bring the bar down to my chest, it just gets a greater and greater stretch that increases as I bring it down. So we always want to maximize stability, put ourselves in a mechanically advantaged position that's safe, and then also maximize the stimulus of the exercise as well. And a great way to do that is maximizing the stretch. So in order to do this, find where your feet feel the best in order to maximize stability from the lower body. Figure out how best it is for you to create the biggest arch that is still comfortable and you can exert a lot of force on the bench relative to you and your mobility, and try and give this a bash. Now, this does require a bit of practice, but just understand it is massively important for you to learn.